this controversy is a 3-year investigation led by a team of independent French journalists who collaborated with forensic experts, genealogists, and document analysts. Their findings were ultimately published in Fate Said Documents, a respected investigative magazine. Paedophilia? Check. Bridget admits she seduced Emmanuel when she was 40 and he was just a 14-year-old boy. Transgenderism? Check. French reporters have confirmed that Bridget lived the first 30 years of her life as a man. Domestic violence? Check. The whole world was shocked when Bridget punched her husband in the face in front of the cameras. What's really going on here? There are only 2 photos that have ever been presented as proof that Bridget lived as a woman before the age of 30. Let's look at the first one, a so-called family photo, allegedly showing Bridget as a young girl sitting on her mother's knee. Which is weird, because to everybody who looks at this photo, Bridget looks like the young child in the check shirt on the left of the screen. That is clearly her face, it's unmistakable. The young child on the mother's knee doesn't look anything like Bridget. The theory put forward by French investigators who investigated the surgeon before he died is that Bridget Macron was actually born Jean-Michel Trognu. That is the young boy you are seeing in this photo on the left of your screen. That would make Bridget 8 years older than she is currently presenting herself to the public. According to investigators, Bridget Macron lived as a man for 30 years before she transitioned. These are credible allegations for a huge number of reasons. First, the investigators pulled together a number of interviews with Bridget from her 30s and 40s, and they found one thing in common in most of the interviews. Bridget Macron did not seem to know her own age. In one interview, she references living alone in the United States in 1969 and watching the moon landing on television. Except, if Bridget Macron was really that young girl in the photo, she would have been 16 at the time, far too young to be living alone in the United States. But if she was Jean-Michel Trognu, the boy that the investigators were alleging Bridget lived as, he would have been 24, which is a much more reasonable age to be living in the US alone. So this raises the question, where is Jean-Michel Trognu? If he is actually Bridget's older brother, surely she can wheel him out to make the rumours go away. Well, guess what? He's missing. The genealogists were able to locate plenty of data to prove that he was alive until the age of 30. But then, at the exact same time that Bridget Macron emerged to the world, Jean-Michel Trognu went missing. You can't make this stuff up. It's also hard to cover this stuff up. But Macron's problems are now hitting closer to home. The police, once loyal enforcers to his every whim, are beginning to turn. And they're not just questioning his leadership. According to insiders, elements within the force are preparing to expose serious criminality involving both the president and his wife. We're not talking about rumours, we're talking about serious crimes, as an officer reveals.
I'm not authorized to speak to the press. None of us are, especially when it involves the president or his wife. These matters are off limits, untouchable. We are told to look the other way, and most do, but some of us are tired. Morally, we can't keep playing along. It's not our job to protect a political dynasty, it's our job to protect the people. What happened to Dr. Favre, the surgeon? It wasn't just tragic, it was criminal. The coroner ruled it a suicide almost immediately. No autopsy delays, no real investigation. And we were ordered, explicitly, not to treat it like we normally would. No forensic sweep, no canvassing for witnesses, no follow-up. But here's the thing. You fall from a 4th floor window in broad daylight in a busy arrondissement and nobody sees it? No screams, no sound, no security footage released. That's not just suspicious, that's surgical. And there was evidence. Minor bruising on the upper arms, inconsistent with a self-inflicted fall. Like someone grabbed him, like he struggled. But those details were scrubbed from the report before it ever reached the press. Not that it mattered. The press was forbidden from asking questions. Editors were issued formal notices, government directives. There's now a full EU-wide embargo on reporting anything related to Dr. Favre's death or the allegation against the Macrons. Journalists who've tried to dig deeper, harassed by the Secret Service, their credentials revoked, their outlets threatened with fines, some even had their social media accounts wiped overnight. From what I've heard, and I have to be very careful here, this wasn't a suicide, this was a hit. A contract job, clean and quiet. The kind used when someone talks too much. But here's what they don't understand. Not everyone inside is willing to stay quiet forever. There are people investigating this silently, carefully. And when the truth comes out, and it will, it's going to shake more than just the Élysée Palace.
We verified the identity of this whistleblower, and they're not alone. What we're seeing is not just a cover-up, it's a coordinated operation to erase the truth. The Macrons are doing everything in their power to keep it on the down low, including asking favors of President Trump to crack down on the story in the US.
I'm negotiating this thing. I'm negotiating Ukraine and Russia, and you wouldn't believe how many parts are part. It is President Donald J. Trump. He is calling me, and in true President Trump fashion, he jumps right into the narrative. We're not, hey, how you doing? He just jumps right into the narrative of exactly how this went down. I am literally, it is hard to catch my breath to comprehend that 4 days ago, I'm ending a series about Brigitte Macron, and now I'm speaking to the President of the United States, and the topic of conversation, no matter which way you want to slice it, it's about Macron's wife's penis. I mean, there's no other way to say it, right? Anyways, I have Macron. I like Macron. We're speaking at the White House, and I'm walking him to his car. And, he says to me, Mr. President, can I speak to you for a second? I say, of course you can speak to me about anything. What's going on? And Macron wants to have a little sidebar. And then Macron says to him, Mr. President, do you know Candace Owens? And I say, yes, of course I know Candace Owens. What's going on? And then he continues his narrative, and he tells me that Emmanuel Macron is requesting to his face that I stop speaking about his wife. And one of the things Trump said is he tells me, she's old and this is really, really impacting her. And then he said, I saw her, Candace, I saw her up close and she looks like a woman to me. She looks like a woman to me. I had dinner with her at the top of the Eiffel Tower. And I explained to him that she has had this amazing doctor who specializes in transgenderism surgeries or feminization procedures. I'm talking to the President of the United States about this, guys. This is crazy. This is wacky. And I said to Trump, and I will be honest, that at that moment I realized that one day this is going to go into my autobiography. And so I got to say something funny. And I said to him, respectfully, Mr. President, it's not my fault that he married someone with a penis. He then tells me, we're really close to getting this thing done. And he throws in the art of the deal type stuff. He starts complimenting me. He said, Melania loves you. She says, you're so beautiful. She thinks you're so beautiful. I said, thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Mr. President. Compliments will get you everywhere in life is my mentality here. And then I say to him what I've agreed to already in the back of my head. I say, look, I'm happy to do this for the short. Obviously, I don't want to have on my conscience that less Christian men could have died in the East if I just shut up about something. But I'm very clear to him that this is going to be short term, and that I fully expect that in a few months I will be able to speak about this. He was about to commit to that, but then it felt to me like someone in the background was like, no, we need this conversation to stop altogether. And then he doesn't say no or yes, but he just says, that he really needs to work with Macron long term, and they have this long working relationship. And I was very clear, this is not long term for me. Like, if you're close to this deal, ink it, let's get it done. And then he sort of offers at the end, he says, hey, maybe I can come on your podcast one day. I'm great for ratings.
This is the wildest political scandal of our time. And we haven't even touched the darkest, most depraved parts. Because there's more than enough credible evidence to suggest that Brigitte Macron isn't just hiding her past. She may actually be Emmanuel Macron's biological father. If you're ready to go down that rabbit hole, everything you need to know is in this video. Brace yourself, it's not for the faint of heart. Here at the People's Voice, we're determined to continue exposing the crimes of the elites, but we need your help. Subscribe to the channel, tell your friends and family about us, and join the People's Voice Locals community for exclusive and uncensored content. We can't do without you. Government agencies, NSA, CIA, Mossad, you name it, are tapping your every move online, feeding their globalist surveillance machine. Your VPN isn't saving you, your VPN is spying on you. They flash no logs like it's a promise. But what they're really saying is, trust us. Trust foreign outfits in Israel, Panama, Romania, Switzerland? Trust them not to sell your data when the globalists tighten their grip? We know their plans. They told us. They're building a digital prison planet, digital IDs, 50-minute cities, total internet control. The globalist takeover needs one thing. Every click, every search, every move you make online in their hands. You think you're safe? Mossad has just been busted spying on White House officials. Nobody's safe. I don't know about you, but it boils my blood knowing they're chaining the internet to their globalist agenda. That's why I've partnered with VP.net, the world's first verified privacy network. They don't promise trust, they prove it. Cryptographic proof in real time that they can't see your traffic. They can't see it, and neither can some tyrannical government, not even if they came with court orders and threats. Your data is locked in Intel SGX secure enclaves. Cryptographic vaults so secure, even the owners of VP.net are shut out. This isn't privacy by some flimsy policy, it's privacy by design, built to break their control. Once you see VP.net, you can't go back. Still using legacy VPNs in 2025? That's like wiring your brain straight into the surveillance matrix. Strike back against the digital overlords by visiting vp.net/TPV. It's privacy by design because the internet's their battlefield and vp.net is your shield.